Sorry, I juiced.
There's beer all over my computer.
And it wasn't from you this time, it was from me.
You juiced. Hello, and welcome to Flix and a Six. I'm one of your hosts, Anthony Costanzo. With me, forever and always, the man, the myth, the NPC, Alessandro Bielsi. Say hello, Al.
It's fucked up, man.
Is it? We can't be you.
I guess.
On this week's episode, the usual Star Wars banter, a dramatic reading, and our flick of the week, one that I have been very excited for, Ready Player One. But first, before we dive into all of that, Al, what are we drinking?
We are drinking another Newburgh beer. We're drinking the Chef Boss.
Chef Boss.
Yes.
It's pretty.
It is.
It's very pretty.
Why don't you take a whiff of this beer?
Look at this pour. Can we talk about this pour?
Yes.
Nobody can see it. I know. I say look at it. You can see it.
I can see it.
We're not good at radio.
In case you haven't noticed, because we didn't announce, this is
in person
recording.
Also,
yet another Easter episode.
You've definitely noticed because I've been getting reports that Al sounds like shit.
Really?
Yeah. So we got to get you a mic. That's the moral of the story.
I thought we had fixed it all. I thought we were...
It's better.
Okay.
You sound better than you used to.
I can project more?
No, please don't. Please project no more. It's better than it used to be, but it's more, still not
roughly the sound of a foghorn.
It's still not great. So if we get you a mic, I think we'll be good to go.
Okay.
We'll clean it up, get it nice and crisp. I mean, you could probably pick one of these up probably cheaper now than when I originally got them. So
this looks pretty legit. I figured it was going to be like
we'll do
expensive.
some research.
That's why I haven't bothered.
I think they're around 80 now, but you could usually find a coupon and get it down to like 60.
Still more than I want to spend for a mic.
I mean, this is our business.
Well, if and when we ever make any money from it, then yes, I will agree. That
we're making ales right now. We're not.
Sure.
Anyway, this beer right here.
Pretty beer. Take a whiff. To me, tell me if you can smell anything particular.
They got them citra hops?
I think so.
Yeah, it does.
There's something else. Yes, actually, if I remember correctly.
There's certainly citra hops in this sucker.
I think there are citra and... No, don't look at the can. No.
Oh.
There's a mystery ingredient.
Okay,
that's
all right.
on the can. But I'm going to see if you can detect while I look up the notes on this.
Warheads?
No.
God, what if I was right?
There's no 1990s sucking candies in this.
They just drop it in as it's brewing? That'd be a treat. Can I cheers you? I really want to taste this. Give me a cheers here. Oh, that's the stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You little citra hop devils. You're wonderful. They're my absolute favorite. Oh, I like that. This is one of the better, if not the best ones I've had from them.
I mean, they're all pretty good. By the way, we are still not sponsored by Newburgh Brewing.
Not at all.
Cannot be clearer about that. Despite the fact that we both enjoy the beer so much that we wish we were sponsored by them. But if you've been listening to us since episode 1, we are still not sponsored by Newburgh
40 episodes in.
Cannot be clearer. This is the 40th episode.
It is.
But so this is the Newburgh Brewing Chef Boss IPA. It was brewed with... Do you want me to give you the mystery ingredient?
Is it possible I could figure it out?
It's possible you could figure it out.
Okay.
It's just not something you would expect to be in there.
Okay. And I can get it from the scent?
And the taste probably... It's subtle. I only recognize it because I knew it because I saw it on the can. But I'm wondering if you're...
Let's see here.
Well, the other things it was brewed with...
I'm not sure. I think
citra
you're
hops,
going to have to tell me.
Centennial hops, lemon drop hops. It is a collaboration with...
Lemon Warheads. I knew it.
It is a collaboration with the brewery at the CIA. That is not the Central Intelligence Agency. That is the Culinary Institute of America. Guys, it is Easter again. Another special holiday Easter episode.
Yeah, this is our annual Easter
there
episode.
have been many forms of alcohol that have been flowing. So this will not be our sharpest episode, but it may be one of our best episodes.
And this is going to be... I mean, this is a thing now. We've done it twice, so it's officially a tradition.
Yes.
Right?
It's
an annual deal for us. Al's family graciously hosts Easter every year, so we decide why not take this opportunity while we're together to do an episode.
Of course.
So yeah, you're gonna hear dogs barking, chairs moving, people laughing.
You might hear some things you don't want to hear.
You might hear a D'Amico sneeze here or there. They're pretty loud. They're abrupt. If it catches you off.
Is that where my loud sneezes come from? Because
when a D'Amico sneezes, your heart stops. That's how that goes down. But yeah, so...
The mystery ingredient of this beer is thyme.
Interesting. Okay.
That's not time the constant. That is time the herb.
That's a construct.
This is an.
Oh,
India,
that's cool. Okay, I got you.
This is an India.
That's cool.
I figured you'd catch it once I said it because that was for me. As soon as I saw it, and I was like, yep, nope.
Yeah,
there's.
I got you.
There's like some nice herbal essence to that.
Mm. This is wonderful, and that makes sense with it being mashed up with the CIA.
It's an India Pale Ale, collaboratively brewed with the brewery at the Culinary Institute of America. This IPA features a delicate touch of the herb thyme. It's not just Boss; it's Chef Boss.
Time Boss.
7.0 alcohol percentage. It comes, as always, in pints.
In pints. I like this glass that you gave me.
Yeah, it's
very
good,
happy.
right?
Yeah.
I enjoy that. I use that a lot for episodes.
Solid.
Especially ones that require a little bit more space for the pints.
Mm.
It's a good old-purpose glass. Oh, whoa! This is news to me. Take a look at your can.
All right.
Just under where it says Boss Collaboration Series, there's a line of things. This is not something I've been aware of, though I do keep up with a list, if you will.
2018 collaborations. Whole Foods Market, Brewery at CIA. Wait, are these all places I can get it?
No, these are all the collaborations they're going to do for 2018.
Oh!
This is the second one they've done. They've had a long-standing one with Whole Foods.
What was
they
that one?
brew exclusively. There was there's one that they've done for them in particular for a long time. It's only sold at the brewery or at a Whole Foods market.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember what it's called now because I haven't had it in a while. But they have on here a list. I've never seen this before of their upcoming collaboration series for this year in 2018. After the Whole Foods and this one, Brewery at CIA, they have Bond Place Brewing, Kent Falls Brewing, Plan B Farm Brewery. They do one with them annually.
Okay.
They use Plan B's honey to make, and they use a wild, like an open fermentation to do sour beers.
Nice.
Five Boroughs Brewing. Sloop, which many of you may know. Graft Cider. Rushing Duck, that's another brewery that's local up here. And Copper Sea Distillery. Yes, ducks make quacking noises.
It's going to be an episode.
We should do a Rushing Duck. I've only really had one or two of their beers. We should do episodes with that. I'd have to bring it to you because I don't know if it'd be down by you.
Probably not.
It's a pretty small one, but it's only about half an hour from here. So
Cool. We'll do that. I have to get you some Magnify beers so that we can do something.
I've heard of them, but I don't think I've ever had any of their stuff. Sorry, that's an inside conversation. Anthony was texting me the other day about, or I guess it was last night, right?
Friday
night?
Yeah.
About some beers that he was drinking because one of the names was
accidentally on purpose,
which Newburgh does a series of beers. Not one of their beers is called that, but a series of beers called accidentally on purpose, where they do sour beers with that.
It was quite good. Big fan.
Very willing to try.
Yeah. So this is nice. This is my beer from them. I'm feeling this one. I like it a lot.
Well, you'll be feeling it because it's pretty strong. I guess you've drank significantly less
Here's the
than
thing.
me today. So,
okay. So I had the Magnify beers that I was telling you about.
Yes.
Had a couple of them while we were there at that bar. I understand when beer is high alcohol that you get a shorter pour, which is fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's usually in a fancy little glass. Mm-hmm. The problem is it's also more expensive, and it's a shorter pour, and that bothers me a little bit.
Well, no, that makes sense. This beer is more expensive than some of their other releases. The higher alcohol content...
But it comes in pints.
Yeah, but you're paying more for it.
Which is fine. I'm saying I'm paying more for less at a bar.
See, that's the thing is... Well, I guess it's different everywhere, but I do know that when you go to a place like Newburgh... they charge you the same for every beer.
I was going to say, I tried everything there, and I feel like I spent $5. So
they charge you the same price for all the beers, but they give you the shorter pour.
Right.
So you get a 12-ounce glass, or no, sorry, you get a 16. They do pints for their standard beers, but if you get a specialty beer like this, they give you a 13-ounce, and it'd be the same price.
Right. Which is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
It's the decrease in volume and increase in price?
Yes. Exactly. It bothers me.
Understandable.
And I had it in front of me, and I was like, this is delicious, but I feel like I'm getting ripped off. not a fan of that aspect.
Also, I like this. I like all the Boss series. They use
the robots?
The little robots.
Yeah, I like the robots.
One of them has a little
he's got a chef's hat.
I like that.
That's exactly where you want this to be. Also, I have no idea what's going on with the little robot on the left side. But he has two hands? Does he have two? Is he holding two decks like
he's
two
playing
hands?
his card.
I think the perspective's off for me. This guy's cheating! The guy on the right's cheating! We gotta post a picture of that. That's amazing. And the dog's involved. This is great. I love this. Awesome. Anyway, that's
the beer.
That is a treat. Star Wars was released this week.
On DVD. Blu-ray, etc. So
Have you watched it again since?
I did. I watched it Thursday night.
Excellent. Holds up?
Yes.
Kind of expected that. Just curious.
Yes.
I haven't watched it again because
Well, you told me you watched all the extras. I
watched,
wanted to, but
not all the extras. I watched the deleted scenes.
Okay.
I want to watch all the extras.
This might be the only time I've ever I want to like there comes along with a documentary about the making of this movie. I honestly want to watch that. And I'm not a big documentary person.
Yeah, I definitely want to watch it. I'm holding off on watching it because like it's one of those things where like I want to sit down and have like the perfect viewing experience again with it. Like on my TV, no interruptions, sound cranked up, a little bit dark, not too dark. Not too dark.
This movie's pretty dark.
It's a perfect level of lighting that I prefer. And I haven't gotten the time yet this week, but it'll happen soon. But the deleted scenes I got to watch, and man, I enjoyed some of those. And I was actually very frustrated that one of them was not in the
I know
movie.
they released a bunch of them online, but I avoided them because I was like, I just want to I want to get to it whenever the movie, because I knew it was coming out soon. So I'll probably try and watch it this week.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll pop it in tomorrow before I come down and visit you tomorrow.
Here's a question.
How cool is that going to be? 2 days in a row, we get to hang out.
Yeah. Going with concert.
Today here, tomorrow your place.
Yeah.
And or show.
It's great.
It's a good time.
Love it. So here, can we talk about deleted scenes? That's not a spoiler, right?
Not really.
It's been cut from the movie.
Yes.
So it's officially not part of it.
Well, I mean, I guess if you haven't seen the movie and we're referencing a scene that was in that,
just skip ahead maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, tops.
5 minutes.
Figure it out.
It's probably not going to be that early.
Also, don't skip it. Because it's like, it's not really a big deal. But there's one that was taken out that I was very upset about. And that was the Phasma scene I thought was phenomenal. I really, really enjoyed that deleted scene.
I didn't see it.
You didn't watch it yet?
I just told you 2 days. Like 30 seconds ago. I said.
I know, but you could have watched that one.
Yeah, no, but that would have required me finding it.
Can I talk about it?
Yeah, sure.
Should I tell you what happens?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a deleted
really
scene,
awesome. So it's not a spoiler. Yeah. Right.
Not for me.
We've covered this ground already.
For someone who hasn't seen the movie, it's a spoiler. Potentially.
Right. So there are Phasma and Finn are on this lift, and they're going up, and her mask is cracked, and you can see her eye through it, all that good stuff. And she's, calling him out again, being a real bitch about this whole thing. And it's really it's kind of infuriating because it's like, just stop with the whole traitor thing. And then he calls her out on it. And I think whooping pig? I think he calls her something. You squealed like some sort of pig, is what she says. What he says to her. I think that's what it was. Forget the name of it. It's actually the name of the deleted scene, if you can find it. Okay. But so he calls her out and tells how your men are going to feel when they find out that you squealed like a whatever pig. As soon as we had you caption blah blah blah, take down the base, blah, 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 episode 7, all that, and you see she's like it's like your word against mine type of thing, and you see all the stormtroopers starting to look at each other, and then start to look at her, and she goes and she slowly draws her small blaster and she kills all the stormtroopers on the platform. Wow. I'm like, whoa! I was like, that took a turn. But while that's happening, Finn approaches her and he cuts her arm off. And I'm like, there it is! I was like, he actually wanted to put it in the movie.
Nice.
He wanted a loss of arm in his movie, but he just couldn't get to it.
Okay.
It was
it's
good.
funny because you said there's a thing that's in here that's not in that's
right. It's very Star Wars.
Traditional thing. But there was a note that, and this is what I was wondering about, that Rian Johnson said, they've retired the Wilhelm scream. This is the first movie that there was no Wilhelm scream.
And you thought it was in that scene.
And that's what I was wondering, if maybe it just didn't make the final cut, and that was why.
I you know what? I'm going to tell you a few of the other scenes because it's fun. I think it's fun to have your reaction to them. So, another one that was really, really silly, really good to cut it out of this movie because this movie's dark, and this scene alone would just raise the tone of the film by like way too much to the point where because it just doesn't fit. It's too silly. So they're in the Finn, Rose, and DJ, thank you, are in an elevator going up, and they make it through this whole room of people before they get in, and someone starts to notice them. They get into the elevator, and he's like hitting the button.
Oh, this is the scene with the princes and Tom Hardy.
Yes, and the door. So do you know what happened?
I'm aware of it. Yeah.
Okay, so the doors close, and they're going up, and they're like, they're relieved to exhale. And the doors behind them open, and just a whole group of stormtroopers get on, and one of them recognizes Finn, but doesn't know.
Yeah, apparently. Well, because you have to remember, this is still only a couple days later from
That's fair.
The episodes from episode 7.
Is it days?
It's like a day or two later.
Finn healed that quickly with that pod?
Maybe it's a week.
Oh, interesting.
Because remember, because at the end of episode 7,
that makes sense.
They destroyed its Starkiller base, but they know where they are, and that's why they have to abandon the base and flee right then and there. It's only a day or 2 or 3 later.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And that's why he's a couple of days.
So it's possible not everybody knows about this yet. I guess that makes sense.
That's what it came down to is that they didn't want it to be widespread that they had a traitor.
Yeah.
The reason that the guy screams traitor is that was one of his units. So he recognized him.
Okay, that's fair.
And obviously Hux and Kylo Ren and Phasma know about it because they were the ones talking about it when he escapes with Poe Dameron in Episode 7.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense then.
Yes.
So it could have worked, but still the tone. It's too funny for this very serious thing that's going on. So I think that's why they and too over the top. But he's got this little banter with him, and he's like, "I never expected you to be like whatever rank he
Captain
is with the
he's wearing officer's garb,
and
even though he was like a grunt."
But he ends up like it ends up like going like in a weird way, and he slaps him on his ass.
I heard about that. So that's Tom Hardy.
Okay.
The guy who's in the Stormtrooper thing who's talking to him, and if rewatch it again, because apparently if you listen, like you can tell, just the same way that you can tell Daniel Craig is in Episode 7.
Right.
That's Tom Hardy. And
that's funny.
2 of the Stormtroopers amongst that group are Prince Harry and Prince William.
Yeah.
So
that's funny. That's a silly. So that was another silly scene.
Did you see me while we're talking about that? Did you see that I sent you that thing about Mark Hamill? He met them on set that day when they were shooting that scene. And I
don't think I saw this. You sent this?
I sent you. I don't know if it was an article or if I sent you a screenshot or something. And so Mark Hamill was trying to tell the 2 princes that he's royalty as well because Leia was the Princess of Alderaan and he's her brother, so he's some form of royalty as well.
I like that. That's so silly. So the other scene that I want to tell you. Well, actually, there's one that was cut, which was excellent. That they cut it. Was that they extended that whole thing on Canto Bight with the racing on
chase. I heard it's really long.
It is very long. And
I did hear about some of the scenes. I know because I know there's that, and I heard it was good, but it just doesn't fit. It's too long.
Lucas probably would have cut something else to put that in, like that. It would have been a mistake.
Oh, you mean a 45-minute pod race?
Right. Yes. It's too much. But there's this other scene which I am on the fence about. It's if you're a Jedi
one on the island.
If you're a Jedi person, you probably would enjoy it.
With the keepers.
Yes. Luke tells Rey.
The thing is, reading this. I don't know how long the scene is. It's probably fairly long.
It's probably longer than it needs. It's a good. I mean, it was easy. It probably an easy decision to cut this one.
But the thing is, from what I read, the spirit of that scene would have fit perfectly. It just takes too long to execute. Right, the whole idea of her rushing in, and that's being
it is good
counter to what the Jedi do, and even more so counter to what the style of Jedi that Luke Skywalker was himself. Mm-hmm. The idea of him being more Yoda-like in that he's very passive, and it's about his connection to the Force.
Right,
and that's something that I know we've talked about a little bit in the past, and it's something I've read more into. And being true to Luke's character, the fact that he's so passive, people don't like that, and it's like. Did you guys forget about how the part after he chopped off his father's arm, he threw his lightsaber away and allowed himself to be nearly executed? He was a very passive Jedi. Like, that's his thing. And that was what that scene was trying to teach, right? Is that just rushing in headlong is not always the right way.
But what's really great about it is that he does it in a really funny way too. Like when she realized,
right?
when she realized, he like cracks up.
Yeah.
Which is great to see. This tormented Luke let out this laugh after all this is going on.
He needed a joke, and he finally had his muse.
So that actually ties into another scene that happens in another deleted scene, which is fine. It's just trimming the fat. They cut this out, but after she breaks something or shoots something, whatever she does, and the keepers of the island they get upset. One of them sizes her up, she looks down at her feet and looks up to the top of her head and almost gets a slight shake.
Bro?
Yeah, really? That's basically what she's saying.
A great underrated line that he says too.
Yeah, so she runs in and she busts down the door with her lightsaber. She comes in straight ready to fight, and they're all having a great time. And I'm pretty sure it's the same one. They pan to her, and she's just looking at her, shaking her head. She's just no. And then in the distance, you just see R2 and Chewie just enjoying themselves in the party.
Nice.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
And I was that could have been. If you want to put something in there, just to give a couple of, there was some decent chuckles in this movie to begin with, but that's a really nice lighthearted thing with a very serious concept that they were trying to teach, you're saying. But that was a funny one.
I just it's such an underrated because it fits in with that whole theme, where when she was trying to shoot Kylo Ren in their dream like communication thing.
Cleaning everyone off.
She blows it up, she blows like a hole in the wall, and what happened? I was cleaning my blaster. She goes, "Who are all they?" Oh, they're the keepers. She goes, "I don't think they like me." And he goes, "Can't imagine why."
But they kind of do a little bit of that scene where like the one looks at it, but like it's something bigger, and it's really really funny. But anyway, those are the ones worth noting. There was a couple of really short ones. There was actually one. Sorry. So BB-8, it's like an alternate opening. So Finn waking up much earlier.
Okay. And
coming in to play, like with the hoses leaking, and he's like walking around the ship.
Wait, Finn awake, bag naked,
leaking? What?
Oh, what? Did you fry a circuit?
So he's sitting on like a step, and BB-8's up next to him, and he's like. He's thinking about like what's going to happen. He's like wondering about Rey. You can tell like he's just contemplating. And then BB-8 shows this like a hologram like video thing similar to like the Leia hologram. But it's Rey giving him a kiss on the forehead and saying like we'll be together soon or something like that along those lines. And he's like, and like it gives him like the drive to like to get up.
Yeah.
But he goes, so as he does that, it's another like really quick funny moment in there. He goes. It's weird that you recorded that, but thank you. It's very silly. But overall, like I normally, you get a couple of deleted scenes on a DVD, you watch them, they're okay, they're whatever. They just like you're like, I get it. It's very rare that there's a few scenes where I'm like, oh my god, I wish that was just in here.
The scene I sent that to you right a while back. The scene from Step Brothers where Rob Riggle has a heart attack.
I don't think so.
Oh, I know I've sent it to a bunch of people and everyone's loved it like unanimously.
I might have to
I'll show it to you later.
Yeah, show it to me later.
It's a deleted scene that it would have it's so good that I can't believe they didn't put it into the movie. But on the other hand, it doesn't fit exactly with what goes on with at that point where because it's later in the movie where Will Ferrell is working for the brother and he's getting the job with the Catalina wine mixer.
Yeah.
They would have to change
Catalina wine mixer
because they would have to change the whole thing. In the movie, Will Ferrell asks for it.
Yeah.
In this, they're charging him with it.
Gotcha.
So they would have to rework stuff. But the scene is so good, it just doesn't fit with how the rest of the movie plays out. But it's great. I'll show it to you later.
I want to see that.
It's like 2 or 3 minutes long, and it's great.
That'll be good. Well. That was it. I just wanted to touch on a few of those deleted scenes.
Well, as long as we're here with Star Wars, I had a little note. There's some stories come out. Apparently, someone got a little chatty from the set of the Han Solo movie.
Oh.
An actor who has not been named, who I was trying to, like, reading it, I was trying to see if I could figure out who it was.
Uh-huh.
It's a man, not a woman, because I said actor and it references he a few times.
Okay.
Unknown. So I was trying to figure out, and then it said, not one of the main stars. I was trying to figure out if maybe it was Woody Harrelson. But then another article I saw later on said it's an actor whose name doesn't make the marquee. So it's going to be someone even smaller of a role than that.
Interesting.
Because that's what I was figuring is Woody Harrelson's a big actor, but I don't think he's going to have a huge role in this movie.
Right.
Although, admittedly, the lack of promotion, I don't really know. I still don't know what this movie's about.
Yep.
I just know it's about young Han Solo, but I have no concept of who's the bad guy, what's the driving force. Usually you get that from a movie.
Yeah.
But whatever. So this actor was talking about the firing of Lord Miller, bringing on Ron Howard, how it played out, all that sort of stuff. Lord Miller didn't speak on it, but their rep categorically denied it, but didn't specifically say what was wrong with all of it. It just sounded like one of those things where they have to comment and say, nope, that's a lie, even though it may or may not have been. But basically they said, listen, there was problems. It's not because Lord and Miller are bad directors. They were just out of their depth, which is kind of what we heard at the time the switch was being made. Right. So that kind of all tracks, right?
Yeah, it didn't seem super hostile. It just seemed like, hey, we got this big thing that we got to do.
We have to make this movie, and you like what you have, like your process doesn't fit with what we're trying to do. You would have thought they would have done that sort of homework beforehand, but fine. They said Ron Howard came on. He's great. It was like a tension lifted because the problem was the actors were like, okay, we've done 40 takes on the scene, and like we don't have great direction. Ron Howard, shoot the scene. Good. Move on.
Right.
No, do it again. This is what I want out of you. They do it. Okay, now it's good. Let's go. Whereas opposed to, instead of them giving constructive criticism between takes, it was just, I want you to do it this way, or just give me something different. Anything that's not that again. It's like kind of directionless.
Yeah, and I had heard some of the things like, there were like no rewrites.
Yeah.
They were reshooting scenes, and like
that
instead of using whole sets, they used like a much tighter chunk and like.
But there was something, and they talked about the acting coach that was everyone was on, like, set the world on fire with this acting coach for Alden Ehrenreich, and
which I'm sure happens more often than we know.
Well, actually, that's not the gist of what I got in here.
Really?
that's a pre-production thing.
Okay. Okay.
That's why it's a big
That's
deal.
concerning then.
It's getting them to do
Gotcha.
it while the movie's being made. That is what's uncommon.
Do you think
supposedly.
it potential relates to the poor, not the poor direction, but the...
No, basically what they said was that Alden Ehrenreich's a good actor, but he's not a tremendous actor, and it's really hard to be playing a character, let alone playing someone playing a character.
That's true.
Because he's not playing Han Solo, he's playing Harrison Ford as Han Solo.
Right.
And he said...
Oh, that's a really good point.
That's what they're saying is he was having trouble emulating the Harrison Ford swagger and stuff like that. Emulating a Ford Han Solo as opposed to James Bond just having to be a James Bond. Daniel Craig wasn't hired to be Sean Connery as James Bond. He's just being James Bond.
Right. Take me to Yanis.
So, what?
I said take me to Yanis. Sorry. Now that I've derailed you again, please continue.
I wasn't even the right Bond, man.
I know. That's the best part, though, isn't it?
Pierce Brosnan, come on! Anyway, the thing that really struck me about this article, why I brought it up, was there's a line at the very end talking about the film quality. So I'm going to read you the last paragraph. This is an article on Vulture, but it was picked up all over the freaking world.
Mm-hmm.
So the reshoots are quantitatively making Solo a better movie. The actor says morale in the production improved by leaps and bounds with Howard's arrival, but points out it's impossible to measure quality without seeing the final cut. He also points out that the financial underperformance of the last Star Wars installment, which fell $200 million short of analyst predictions, according to the Wall Street Journal, has incentivized the studio to make the Force strong with this one. They have to make Solo good after The Last Jedi didn't make as much money as expected. They want to keep making Star Wars movies. It has to be good. And this is the issue I had. That may be that actor's opinion on it. And I was like, okay, wait, the Last Jedi didn't make as much money? So I looked it up. It's like the seventh largest grossing movie of all time.
Right.
It made $1.2 billion. So it's one of those things where it's like when you ever hear about someone who's like playing with numbers or playing with graphs and it's like a certain snapshot of something doesn't look very good, but when you realize that in context, okay, it made $200 million less than expected. But you know what it did? It made more money than all but 6 movies in the history of movies.
Right.
And it like tripled its budget in profit. So what the fuck are we talking about here? Like, okay, they expected it to be $1.5 billion and it was only $1.2 billion. God for fucking bid.
Right.
Like they underperformed. Sure. You know what? Usain Bolt, when he runs a tenth of a second slower than his world record, is underperforming.
This reminds me of a great Friends scene where Chandler is like, oh no, my wallet's too small for my 50s and my diamond shoes are too tight.
Like, I mean, are we... Like, that's one of those things where it's like, it's bullshit. Like, yeah, they realize that if they're going to pump out a Star Wars movie every fucking year, everything has to be a quality endeavor. But let's not act like The Last Jedi was this huge flop, because it fucking sure as hell was not.
Right.
And that's, listen, I'm a defender of because I love the stuff and everything, but they don't need my defense. But this isn't, like, it was just annoying, because it's like, let's just tell the truth here, guys. Like, it made over $1 billion. Any movie that makes over $1 billion is a success.
Agreed. I'd happily make a movie that is nowhere near that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And it's not even like it was $1 billion movie that made 1.2. It cost like $300 million to make, which is a lot.
Right.
But they made back way more. They made a ton of profit. Not just revenue. Yeah. They made a ton of profit on this movie.
I like the way that you put it. It's like maybe it didn't reach their projections, but it only did worse than 6 other movies. That's
in the history of the world.
That's a really good way to look at it.
I mean, come on.
That's really funny. Oh man. Well, I'm very curious about what's going to go on in May with this movie.
I mean, I want to see the movie, but I'm trying to temper, and it's not hard to temper because there's not much for me to go on.
My expectations aren't. They're just not there. I don't have any.
There's the promotional material. Like, they got a lot of work to do. The movie comes out in a month and a half.
Yeah.
Or 2 months.
Maybe they're nailing it by doing this.
What I think
they're not spending the money so that they can make more.
Well, no, because usually an absence of promotion usually means people are expecting it to be bad.
For sure.
But
it's not going to stop any person that was going to see this Star Wars movie from seeing it.
That's true. It's just going to stop casual fans. But what I'm wondering is they may have a good product.
Right.
But they were so far behind and didn't want to push the release date that they may not have all of the footage ready to go in a trailer.
I also don't understand why it's coming out so soon.
Because that's when it was supposed to. They didn't want to move the release date.
I know, but
they fired Lord Miller and they hired Ron Howard like 4 days later.
I know. Yeah, it just seems weird. It's like
they stopped shooting. They stopped shooting for like 10 whole days.
I also don't know why they're trying to. They're like cannibalizing their own box office with Avengers being out the month before.
Well, I think that's why they moved the Avengers a week up.
Still, it just seems odd to me. Unless there's something huge coming out at the end of the year that we don't know about.
I think it's just they pick their dates ahead of time and it falls where it's going to fall.
Yeah, it can be moved.
I mean, they still have almost a month between Avengers and Solo.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. We'll see what happens. Obviously happy that I'm going to get to see another Star Wars movie this year. But, like, they're doing a really good job of me not having... I don't have, like, positive or negative expectations towards this thing. Well, I just don't have any because I have no idea.
What I don't understand is why they had to do this December-May thing. And this has been planned for a while ago. All they had to do was just every December Star Wars.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's what I mean. Do it first, and then they announced that they were moving up the Han Solo movie to May from way back when they first announced it.
Yeah. Well, when is the next Avengers movie going to come out? Is that going to be after? Is that 1 year?
Next summer.
Next summer.
2019.
Is it going to be May again?
I don't. It's probably on the books, but I just know it's.
I wonder if they're trying to shift their superhero and Star Wars releases. Maybe they're trying to swap them.
They still haven't titled the second Avengers because it's mostly been shot.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have a title.
I have a feeling the title has probably some sort of impact.
That's what I'm wondering is if they won't announce the title.
Avengers Phase 1. What?
Avengers Infinity War Part 2. Everyone died.
Yeah. Now what?
Now who's left? Question mark.
It's just Cap. I don't want to see that.
He's like the only one who it's like pretty sure it could die off.
Right.
Why is he the only one left?
Right. It's just him, but like he's stuck. He's in like he's between heaven and hell. What is that?
Purgatory.
Purgatory. That's what this is like. It's just all of them stuck there.
Just floating.
Yeah. Well, this sucks.
Well, and admittedly, I'm kind of speaking out of school on this, but I think that's kind of a whole thing with like the Marvel comics that they've done a couple of times. Like after the Infinity War and like the universe gets like destroyed.
Yeah.
And everyone just kind of like there's like some one area where everything just kind of like mashes together. Is like the battle realms and all that shit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm really not a comic expert, but
I know. Yeah. That's one of the things I love about comic books is just how like crazy they can get. Like this, like, okay, you know what? Let's take all of these ideas and put them over here for a minute. Yeah. and let's explore this. And you know what? Nobody cares. Like nobody argues that like this doesn't make any sense. It's just like this is where it is now. Like let's just deal with this. There's one other thing that you wanted to do this episode, but I'm gonna ask that we do it on the next one.
Oh no!
Because
I'm so ready for it.
Because
it's so relevant.
We are literally. You guys, listeners, don't know this. We're racing against time. Let me know what you think. We started off at 50%.
Okay.
We're at 33 minutes. We got 34% left. Guys, I don't have my charger. I apologize. This is my bad. Do you think we can do it? We could probably do it. You want to do it?
Yeah. It's not going to take that long.
Do it.
Okay. Quick backstory. You all know Sean Penn, the actor. Well, now he's Sean Penn, the novelist.
Who now?
And if there was a worst idea that you could ever think of in the world, well, outside of like murder and rape and the human like sex slave industry, well, I don't know. Worst idea.
That's quite the list.
So anyway, he wrote a book called. I'm just seeing it's called, and this is not a typo. Bob Honey, Who Just Do Stuff.
What?
I had to reread it like 6 times across like 6 different articles to make sure that like someone hadn't did a typo somewhere.
Bob
Honey, Who Just Do Stuff. Bob Honey is the name of the main character of his story, and he just do stuff.
Oh boy.
Yep. And so it's supposedly some sort of postmodern like thing. I don't know. And if you know anything about Sean Penn, he's kind of problematic in general. The novel repeatedly makes comedic hay out of violence against women while holding them up as objects of ridicule. That is a line that is in a review of this book. But what we're here for, because we heard that the reviews were fairly strong for my dramatic reading of Ernest Cline's allegedly written poem, Nerd Porn Auteur.
Oh, my God.
This novel, which is supposedly in the vein of Thomas Pynchon and others of that ilk. Well, here's some snippets from this book, because it's supposedly one of the worst things ever written. And, well, I have a little blurb here. It says, here's a few sample sentences demonstrating Penn's quote-unquote shock and awe tactic of deluging readers in a flood of sesquipedalian terms, and I don't know what that word means, and I'm usually pretty good with words. On closer inspection, barely mean anything in the given order and context. So don't worry about context, people.
So does the whole thing sound like the title?
Hence, his life remains incessantly infused with her identity infidelity and her abhorrent ascensions to those constant salacious sessions of sexual solitaire.
Okay, settle down, alliteration. Jesus Christ.
And that was one of the things that I've seen in the review. It's like, does Sean Penn think that he's required to do alliteration at all times? Because so if I stumble at all, guys, it's only slightly because of the alcohol. It's mostly because of the ridiculousness of this. Here's another one.
The Dr. Seussness.
It's worse, way worse than Seuss. Whenever he felt these collisions of incubus and succubus, he punched his way out of the proletariat with the purposeful inputting of covert codes, thereby drawing distraction through Scottsdale deployments, dodging the ambush of innocents astray, evading the Viscount vogue of Viagratic assaults on virtual vaginas, or worse, failing passively into prosaic pastimes.
What is happening right now? What in the world? What is this?
I don't know. While the privileged patronize this pickle as epithet to the epigenetic inequality of equals, Bob smells a cyber-assisted assault emboldened by right-brain Hollywood narcissists.
Oh my God.
Behind decorative gabion walls, an elderly neighbor sits centurion on his porch watching Bob with surreptitious soup cone.
What?
I don't know. I don't know what any of these sentences mean. And I've read a lot of different things. I think of myself as being fairly well read. Mm-hmm. Bob's boyhood essence set him up for a separation from time, synergy, and social mores, leading him to acts of indelicacy, wounding words, and woeful whimsy that he himself would come to dread.
What? Okay, I'm done. That's more than enough
Are you
of
sure?
that. Yeah.
Well, how about his poem that he wrote at the end of the book?
Oh, no. Just read it.
There's a 6-page epilogue poem which delivers some heavy-handed insights on our current political moment. Here's Penn on the Me Too movement. Though warrior women bravely walk the walk, derivatives of disproportion draw heinous hypocrites to their flock. Where did all the laughs go? Are you out there, Louis C.K.? Once crucial conversations kept us on our toes, was it really in our interest to trample Charlie Rose? What's with this Me Too, this infantilizing term of the day? Is this a toddler's crusade, reducing rape, slut-shaming, and suffrage to reckless child's play? A platform for accusation, impunity, due process has lost its sheen? But fuck it, what me worry? I'm a hero to Time magazine.
But is it meant as a joke?
Oh no, I'm pretty sure he's very serious about this.
But it's not meant as him trying to be I don't trying to act as a moron from the other side of which there is no other side.
He's trying to do anything.
You think that this is real?
Genuine in this, yes. No, because I actually, now that I think about it, once I had read this, I think he was defending Louis C.K.
Interesting.
At the time.
All right. Well, I don't want to give this any more airtime. So
no, it's just something that needed to be said for
that's fine.
Sheer absurdity. Ugh. It's so bad.
I really hope that
all of it, every word of it is so bad.
I would rather believe that it's a joke.
Me too, but unfortunately, there's truth and there's
on to lighter things. Because screw that.
Yeah, no, it was
absolutely not.
Absolute train wreck.
Ugh. Yeah. All right. Sorry, I can't shake that one off. I'm gonna need a shower.
Yeah, I think we all do.
This week's flick. is Ready Player One. Guys, I'm so excited. Okay, I've been waiting for it. For a while. Couple things I want to clear up before we get started. One, a few weeks ago we talked a little bit about the race that's in there. I was getting it very much confused with some other story. There is no race in the book from what I remember.
That's what I was telling you. I was hearing people saying that, and I was confused when you said that was wrong.
There's no race. I was thinking it's really funny. It's because of the source material and what's going on. I am certainly getting it confused with the Lego Movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of all the references and the race sequence. If there is, I really don't remember there being one.
That was the thing. Is way back when the first trailer came out and they showed that race, I saw a bunch of people who read the book and said like that doesn't happen in the book, or it was like much smaller in importance or something like that.
Right.
Like,
yeah. If there was one, it's not. Yeah,
that's why when I brought that up the last time we talked about it, I was confused why you said that.
So here's the thing. I'm gonna put it out there. So this is one of the things I've talked about numerous times in the past, and this is no spoiler. I loved it. And here's the thing. Generally a positive person. This is a thing that I am very much happy about. So there was probably no shot at me disliking it, to be honest with you. Okay. It's very, you probably have some concerns with it that I probably won't see, because when I went in there, I was just, a Steven Spielberg fanboy, which is fine. The
idea of it in a nutshell, I agree that it's something I would enjoy as well. I just don't have the same reference for it because I didn't read the book that you did.
Right, and that's fine. And here's the thing. I actually, if people that love the book, like I really did love it, if they were upset by a lot of stuff that happened in the movie, I would understand to a point. But it's very, very different. Mm-hmm. But it took me. What's weird? It took me about 30 minutes to realize, like, okay, this is not like it's probably going to go in a completely different set of things from what's happened, because they kind of opened that way, and it's like. I made my peace with that, and then I thoroughly enjoyed it the rest of the way through. Like I was just confused in the beginning because I just didn't understand. Like, wait, what's happening? Like, I don't. This is not. Oh, I get it. You're doing the same story, different context. You're making it original. You're probably making it work for screen, which makes total sense because you can't have a movie of somebody playing a old video game
and
for 30 minutes.
What I would like with this case, because a lot of times where that sort of thing happens is, at best you get a consultation by the author. Mm-hmm. He co-wrote the screenplay,
right?
So he had hand,
and that's why it's probably why it all works. Because what's really fun about it, there are twists and turns in the book. There are twists and turns in the movie. They're not the same twists and turns, but they're equal in impact. And like I thought they were really well done. I mean, they weren't super shocking. Like you wouldn't have like not been able to figure certain things out or point certain things out, but. I was really happy with the way this whole thing went down, and I had a really good time watching it, and that's what I was expecting, especially after his little speech in front of the South by Southwest, where it's like, guys, I made a movie, not a film. Like I like that concept, and it was just, man, I had a good time.
I enjoyed the movie. It was a qualified like. I liked the movie. It's something that I wouldn't have a problem watching again. I didn't love it. Because there was just, it's like more high level abstract stuff that's just like kind of nagged at me during the course of watching it, that it's like, it didn't ruin the movie for me. It just like, it just pulled the reins back. That's fine. What I mean? But I enjoyed it. It was a fun movie. It was enjoyable.
What I love about this is a movie about an Easter egg filled with Easter eggs, comes out on Easter weekend. That's great. That's brilliant. Well done.
One question I have for you: what format did you watch it in?
I just saw it in the theater we normally go to.
Okay. Oh, I saw it in 3D.
Oh, okay.
The only way I could fit it into the schedule was that was the viewing I had to see it in.
That would probably hurt my face.
Yeah, it was a little irritating.
There's a lot of sensory overload in this movie.
Yeah, it was a little irritating at first. I got used to it eventually. I made sure I didn't wear my contact lenses with it, even though that makes my viewing overall worse, but those 3D glasses don't jive well with my contact lenses.
I can see that.
I don't know why, but it's just the multiple layers of lenses don't work. Although
it's just all upside down and backwards.
No, it's just like imagine basically that would be fucking funny.
They just like didn't figure that out.
It's like one of those things where like they just don't sync properly.
Yeah, no, it does make sense.
But although I almost got up and walked out of the theater because during like they ran the trailers and the trailers were 3D as well, and it was like disassociating, and there was like weird colors. It was like should I just go up and say something now? Because if this goes on into the movie, like, I'm gonna be fucking pissed.
Right.
I'm already getting a little nauseous watching this during the trailers. I guess so. I'm just like it was bad. It wasn't just minor annoyance. It was like a train wreck.
From the experiences that I've had, I've noticed you can usually see like a clip between when they're showing the trailers and the movie. I know that most movies have like a trailer set that will go with them. Like at certain theaters, you'll probably have like, and it's targeted audience and all that stuff. But there's I don't know. This is me speaking off the cuff because this is just from me watching it and noticing something as it happens. I feel like I've seen a switch multiple times between when they're showing the trailer and then when the movie starts, and it feels like it's coming from a separate reel or chip. No, but in this case,
well, I guess, but no, that was the problem. Because it wasn't like it was something that like wasn't 3D, and then it was, like all of them were 3D, and the 3D was just degrading.
Yeah.
Like
that would have been rough, especially. Oh my god, in that movie,
I was getting nauseous watching like the Jurassic World trailer.
Okay, yeah, I didn't even get that one. So,
well, it made sense because it's Amblin, like
No, it totally makes sense. But that would have sucked if you got into the movie and it was all.
Yeah, no, I would have thrown up.
Yeah,
it would have been like being on like a bad roller coaster ride.
You come outside, you're like wobbling side to side. I'm gonna need a few things. One, I'm gonna need my money back. Two, I'm gonna need you to restart the movie.
Three, where's the I need a bucket.
In that order. But oh man, so the way they get the keys very different. The
hang on. So
relationship with characters is very different.
We've talked about spoilers, guys. Spoilers.
Oh, you want to just do it? Yeah. All right, we're jumping in.
Well, you're talking about keys, so that's a spoiler. Like
it's in the trailer.
I don't remember there being keys in the trailer.
There is. There's one key. It's actually the crystal key at the end of the trailer. It just goes in and it clicks, and that's it.
Okay, since we're post spoilers now,
yeah.
Spoilers, guys.
Spoilers.
I almost threw something at the fucking screen during that whole scene with the keys at the end.
Oh, when he couldn't get the key in the hole?
You can do that gag one time.
It was infuriating.
You can't do it 6 times in a row. I was getting so mad.
Yeah.
You remember how Inception, where they did that one thing, that one time when the car shifted, and Arthur is like flipping through the thing?
Yeah.
You get one time with that joke. You don't get 6 times spread across 8 minutes.
But it wasn't a joke. I think it was supposed to be the more dire.
Joke, whatever. It was infuriating.
It was. I was frustrated as well.
Like, stop doing it. We get it. The cars are running into it. It made him fall down. You've done the joke or the thing or the plot device. Stop doing it. It just kept doing it. And I was getting so fucking angry.
We're all like the girl in the, like, with the science lab. Just put the key in the hole!
Yes. No, because I wasn't angry at the movie. I was angry at Steven Spielberg or whoever fucking wrote that scene. Like, I was like, you know how you get like the edge of your seat? Like, no, I was angry. I was not concerned. I was mad.
You were actively booing and throwing things at the screen.
I would have been booing, except there was other people in the fucking screen with me. Like.
So, since we're in spoiler territory, we're going to talk about the movie specifically. I'm not going to talk about specifics from the book, and here's why. If you really enjoyed this, which I did, and you haven't read the book, I'd like you to read it. Because it is very different, and you're getting the story again, but in a very different way, and it's also fun. So I don't want to ruin any of that stuff. I don't want to spoil things from the book. So I will just tell you there are significant differences. The keys are very different, and the way at which they are
attained,
they're attained, the like the trials that you have to go through to get them, they work much better in the movie for film. It makes sense. I like that they did that. A couple of other things. Certain characters are in spots that other characters are in the book. They swap places for certain set pieces.
What do you mean?
I will say Artemis being in like a detainment type thing.
Oh, there's a different character.
Very different.
Okay.
Characters die in the book. Somebody dies. Not in the game.
Okay.
Gets off.
So one of the high five.
Get off. It's a four banger at the end of that. Yeah, 4 of them take over afterwards.
Oh.
Yeah, it's dark when it happens.
Okay.
There's a lot. Another fun thing, like, and it makes a lot of sense with the pacing. There's a lot of time between the keys in the book.
Okay.
And it's more streamlined.
That's the type of thing that
totally makes sense. And here's the one thing. People might complain about that. And here's what I would like you to really think about. They didn't make this movie a trilogy. Thank you. I would have seen all three movies. I would have loved it.
That's the thing. You could have done a different key in each movie.
They absolutely could have, and they would have worked. And there's enough going on that they would have each worked as movies. And it would have been thoroughly enjoyable. But maybe they didn't know how successful this was going to be, that's probably more the reason why they did it. They didn't do it for us. They did it for themselves.
And it's a pretty long movie.
It is long, but they switched enough things around to make me not know what's coming in certain spots, and the character IROC very different in the book. It was very silly.
He wasn't IROC, he was TJ Miller.
Right, very fair, but which was very funny.
Yeah,
it's just really silly. Also, when he goes, because I rock, like that, I was just like, nah, you're so stupid. I love you. But, man, I just, the twist of Og being the,
that was a twist. The curator.
Being the curator. That was really cool. Not the case. Not a thing like that. Actually, he serves a much bigger role, in the book.
Og or the curator?
Og.
Okay.
In helping them towards the end goal of the third key. But again, read the book. I'll tell you after hours. But it's man, I had a blast.
In a 6 after
dark. Yeah. But man, I just had so much fun watching this, and it's like I knew going in, there's going to be a crap load of references, and I tried my damnedest to pick out ones that really So a couple things. One, what they did with the second key, which was absolutely fucking brilliant, was the whole Shining set piece, which is incredible and not at all referenced remotely in the book. It's great, and that is a treat. That whole thing is a treat, especially H being terrified to be there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He didn't know what was going on.
It was great. He sees the old lady. Oh, well, not old lady at the time. And I'm just like, no, H, no. I know what happens to you.
He's like, I'm just going to roll with this. And it's
don't roll with it. But that whole thing, man, it was probably just 15 minutes of pure, what's going to happen next? I love this.
It's funny because I've actually read the book, The Shining, but I've never seen the movie.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, I'm other side of that.
I'm and that's one where the book and the movie are very different. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of high level things that are pretty much the same thing, but
which is probably the nod that they're making with that whole thing.
Yeah, because it's funny because there's the whole thing, the creator hating what he created and this and that. But I'm still functionally aware of some of the things that happen in the movie. So little girls, the fucking dead body in the bathtub who is a beautiful woman who's actually disgusting and all that sort of stuff. Was a little confused by the zombies dancing, but then so were they. So
that was a separate piece to it. Yeah, I liked that though. That was really clever.
Actually, my best reference point for the movie The Shining is the music video for The Kill by 30 Seconds to Mars. Great music video, by the way.
But it's funny because I want to actually go back and reread the book because I like I said, I was kind of disoriented at the beginning because I just didn't understand what was happening. That it was where it was going, and then I was like, oh. Okay, just ignore everything. Some characters and the basic premise is that's what we're doing. Great, and I'm all in. And then I just really loved it. So, the Shining thing, like I said, beautiful.
While we're talking about The Shining,
yeah,
I got a fucking kick out of the aftermath of The Shining in the IOI offices.
Oh my god!
I was
when they were all being attacked and they're freaking out.
Everyone.
All of those cuts were great.
Yes.
Anytime they transitioned from
the VR world to
that one was beautiful. Beautifully done.
I was just dying laughing.
The room is just in chaos.
Yes.
But 50%? Because there's a lot of people that are not plugged in that are just walking.
Not walking around, running around, trying to help the people freaking out who are plugged in.
But also, if you look in the distance, there's people just going upstairs.
Yeah.
And downstairs and moving around. It's just really, that was one of the really fun things that they did. And just, that's something that the film is the medium for that. You can't do that in a book.
No.
You can't cut back and forth between that.
No.
And that was really silly.
Yes.
And
it's just Ben Mendelsohn, just nonplussed, looking down.
Right.
What the fuck is going on?
It's just chaos ensues outside. But the guys running, you see the soldiers running, and then they cut to the real world. These kids running down the street.
Yes.
This is just so silly. I love it.
Actually, that was great when they're driving down the street. What's happening out there? And there's just people on a street corner, 8 people standing next to each other, doing flying roundhouse kicks like at the same time.
Yeah.
And then they split that back into like this. Like that was kind of cool stuff.
It was so funny. There was another. So there's two other references that I had on my mind that I wanted to bring up. One was when they blow up the Mecha Godzilla. I don't know if you're familiar with this toy that she throws in there. I forget what they were called. I think they were called Mad Balls.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure.
But it's like a squeeze toy. Like it was usually like this grotesque face. I had two of them, and my sister had a couple of them. The one that I had was like a catcher, like with a catcher's mask, and they're like short little balls. So like it's like the limbs of the character, like all like
there's a person like shrunk down.
Yeah,
I remember those vaguely.
It has it had a baseball in its mouth, and you squeeze it, and the baseball can fly. And so there's that. There was like a skeleton, and there was the mummy one.
Yeah,
and that's what that was. And she throws it. I was like, wow.
I didn't realize that's what it was, but the catcher one sounds familiar. I remember that as a kid. I don't think I ever had them, but I remember those.
The mummy one was like it was just like when I got thrown in there, I was just like, oh my god. Like I feel like. I'm looking around like, is anybody else seeing this right now? Like, am I just the one in this row, literally in the row that knows about this? Yeah, because everybody was just like watching the movie, just going along with it. I'm freaking out quietly, just like, what the fuck? So cool.
I love that there was like just a squad of Master Chiefs like, clammed up together.
Yeah,
like,
Spartans just running through. It's great. The other thing, and this was probably one of my favorite Easter, and I could be wrong. I don't think I am, but at the end of the movie. With finding the Easter egg and all this stuff, the music in the background, like chunks of it, are from The Last Crusade.
It's possible.
And if I'm wrong, I was going to say if I'm wrong, it's totally just.
Although John Williams didn't do the score for this.
Yeah, but if I'm wrong, that it's a ripoff because like the scenes were. I mean, like those chunks of the score are exact. Like it's finding the Holy Grail. Like and I was just like, there was another one I'm looking at. I was like, it's from Indiana Jones. I was like, it's Kim. I was from Indiana Jones. Kim.
I didn't pick up on it, but I also had to like run out when I was done, so I may have missed it. Like I may not have been paying attention as I was walking out. So that's possible.
I mean, it was in the movie. It wasn't like in the credits.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was. You'll have to go back and listen because it's there, and I swear it's. I mean, I'm sure I could probably find something, some article or something like talking about this. I can't be the only one that noticed it. So, but it was just. It was just this movie is like made for me. That's how I felt watching it, and the whole curator being Og thing that was great, and the flipping of the coin to him. The coin is also it's funny. A thing.
He kind of reminded me of a little bit, and it's only because I just happened to catch like 20 minutes of it the other day when I was watching. Is Passengers? He reminded me of Michael Sheen, like the bartender. It feels like that was intentional.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know if it was, but
it seems like there's some similarity in like that. Like sardonic humor and all that.
Yeah, like the sarcasm. It's just, it was good, and his character was fun. I loved the visual representation of the archive and like these little rooms where you could like watch these memories, picking apart the memories to find out these clues. It was really cool. They a lot of things that they did too. A lot of things that I really liked. They were really cool set pieces from the book that don't work in the pacing and storyline of the movie, but they worked them in different spots, and it was really cool. So like when they have that like zero gravity dance, like that's a thing that happens, but it's like it's pretty into the book, and it's like it's a birthday party, like it's a big deal, like it's like a big thing going on.
It's not a part of the quest; it's just a thing.
Right, and it's actually in a downtime because they're trying to blow off some steam because they're struggling to find the next key.
Yeah,
and but it's like, you know what? We can't not put this in the movie. Like it's a really cool concept. Like this zero gravity dance party. Like this is awesome. So I threw that in there. The Halliday's house also plays a very different part in the movie, in the book in the movie than it does from the book, and also really well done. And I love the that Halliday pushed him out, and that they like the reasoning behind it, and then how they kind of redeemed it at the end, like by him telling him, the kid telling Og, like Parsifal telling Og, like what, like basically the memory that he saw, and a lot of the stuff you kind of just have to take it as imagine he told you more because like they're trying to cram so much, and that's a difficult thing.
Also,
to do.
Surprisingly, for how long this movie, and you do kind of feel it a little bit the length of the movie, but not that it ever really drags, but like you can tell that it's a long movie. But surprisingly well paced overall.
Yeah, I would say instead of feeling things drag, you actually feel things rushed.
At times, but that's been a complaint of mine in a lot of movies recently, but I didn't feel like it was that much of an issue with this one. And part of it is, I think, just the idea of what's going on, this race, the fact that it's like the whole movie is essentially a race. That frenetic pacing actually kind of works to that sort of thing. But I think that they did a good job. Like, in the moment of we're racing through the Shining, the Overlook Hotel, like, you understand why you're rushing through that. Like, it's a racing, like, you have the clock. The big, like, it makes sense. And overall, that sequence is fairly long.
Yep.
So it's kind of like they built it in organically, and it makes sense of that, because then you can take a moment to have that dance party thing.
Yeah.
Because that seems fairly long. It's like, oh, you get to see a lived-in part of this world, which is cool.
Yeah.
And that's why I said this is one of my big complaints with something like The Force Awakens. They did a better job of this one than they did in that one. That one feels like everything's hurried through, even though the movie is fairly long. This one did a good job. I actually didn't feel ever really like I needed more in any one thing. The only thing I felt like I needed more of, although you couldn't really execute it in this movie, was the stakes in the real world become very big, but it becomes exponential over the course of the run.
Yeah.
And I feel like you needed a little bit more.
That is one of the areas that it would have benefited from.
To feel the real stakes of it. Yeah. But on the other hand, that's the part you're going to look at is going to get cut for what's going on in this movie. Like, you just know, like, that's what's going to get cut.
Yeah, like, if you think about it, like, there's... If you know the source material and you know a lot of the things that go on, things
like that sounds like stuff that's big in the book that would be cut for a movie.
Exactly,
that's what would have to
exactly, and because a lot of it is just a lot of things that get cut from movies are backstories, and emotional impact like behind the scene and things like that, and that's like there's plenty of detail about that, but it won't work. Yeah, it won't work in a single movie, like as I mentioned, but. Like, I don't blame them for cutting the things that they cut. It does make sense. I don't think that this would have been for anyone. This is a difficult movie to make. Yeah, because it's a wild imagination. Like, just it's all over the place, and I applaud them for doing it the way that they did it, and taking the risks and making the differences that they made. Because it made me. I can now be like, ooh. Maybe I'll reread Ready Player One, or maybe I'll rewatch it, and like those are two completely different things. Yeah, like I like that. I got another version of this story that I love so much, and what I like about that is something that we mentioned earlier about comic books and comic arcs, and like you'll get like the same character thrown into a different scenario, similar scenario but different, and like they'll go a different path and see how that works out. Like, they do that a lot in comics. Yeah. But this was just a different story. It was done in the book, done in the movie. Same characters, same plot, same basic premise. Bruce Wayne's parents die. Then what happens? That's basically and it's going to have the same ending. But like the way that it gets there,
the journey, yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
I really liked that. I just had so much fun with this, and I can't wait to see it again. I'm probably going to go see it again before it's in the theaters. Yeah, I mean, I was worried that I wasn't going to get decent tickets, so I bought them without my movie pass. So I have my movie pass still, so nice. I'll go see it with that. That's important. But man, did I have fun. The H reveal, I was afraid they were going to screw that up.
Okay.
They did a good job with it. I thought it was actually really funny because a couple of things that I like about it. One, he's not upset by it. He's shocked at first because he just doesn't, in his mind, I'm sure it never registered what H would look like this in real life. But he's like they're very accepting, which is part of what I really liked about the characters. Yeah, like it's just like oh my god, this is crazy. Okay, cool. Let's get in your van. And they just drive off.
Let's get in your van, which in context,
never say.
Context is like, hey, person I don't know.
Right.
Let's get in your van.
But it does happen. It's the same type of. It's the same difference from the character that like.
Well, for me, I knew it was going to be a thing because it was all set up.
Oh yeah.
For one. Heavily modulated voice. One of the few people who had a heavily modulated voice, and it's like, okay, that's obviously not. Second, how adamant
the Chuck
he/she was about Chuck being a 300-pound dude somewhere.
Yep.
But what the only surprise ended up being is who it was specifically, and I was like, I know her.
Yeah.
That was because she's cool. Funny on Master of None. Did you watch that?
No, but I was actually talking to Kim after. I was like, who is that? Like I've seen it because I've seen her on all the award shows recently. Up there with Aziz Ansari. Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. But and most recently, and I think I was watching This Is Us. I think she was like a vet in there. But
I know she doesn't have many acting credits. I think she's done more writing than acting.
But that was cool.
She's like writing and producing the new show that's on like Showtime or the Chai. It's about Chicago.
Okay. Yeah, no, that was fun though. I liked that. I also loved the shtick about him. Was his name? Was it Show? The 11-year-old kid.
Yeah,
it was great. Do I just need to wear a sign on me that says I'm 11?
Oh, we're just gonna wear a sign. I'm 11. Shoot me first.
Yeah. Oh man, that was really funny. Ben Mendelsohn.
Treasure.
What a dick! I love him.
That's what my note. Ben
it's
Mendelsohn
just treasure.
Is a treasure.
He's a really good bad guy.
Well, he's always a bad guy. So
he's really good
because
he's just really. But It's funny because it's like, God, every time I see his face, God, I hate that guy. Oh, I'm supposed to.
Well, you know what it is I just worry when I see something like that in a movie like this that like they're gonna just go through the motions.
Yeah.
But like he's a pro. Like he.
It would have been really funny if he gave some spiel about the clean slate. I would have if he just like, I'll give you a clean slate, and then just. That was the only fourth wall break, and then just turns to the camera.
Like he's just great at being a dick, like on screen. Like that's what he is. He's a professional dick on screen.
Boss Man 69.
Yeah,
great.
and like he did a good job of it. But the scene that got me was you're giving 100% is where he talks to him via hologram, and he tries to make him the offer to work with him. And he's got the guys in his ear. Like he sells it like. It's like, man, like the thing I love about he sells it, like he sounds like even though he's lying, like Ben Mendelsohn, the actor, sounds like he's really selling it as like that being important to him. You know what I mean? Like,
it's good. It's great.
Like he's a really good actor. I enjoy watching him, even though no matter what he's in, I know he's going to be the bad guy.
Yep.
He does a good job of being the bad guy. Like,
man, it's awesome. I also liked. I loved what they did, like visually, with the different rigs that people used for it, like because that was really cool. Like your imagination wanders with the way they describe it in the book and stuff like that, and like the different types of suits and stuff that you could wear. And
they stole the thing from Inception though with that, pulling him out of the rig and putting him in the fake office.
Oh yeah,
that was like basically stole that from Inception.
Mm-hmm.
Where
that was cool though.
I'm still dreaming, aren't I?
Yeah. That was well done, well executed. I loved seeing the Iron Giant in there. I love that it played a significant role. That was actually really cool.
Yeah, it ended up surprising me that it was H who had the Iron Giant because you saw it in promotional stuff, but there's no reason you would know that that's who that was. Like,
I also like the whole like mechanic aspect that they played, like, and like this person knows how to do these things.
I like that it was like a little toy that she had, like her motorcycle.
Yep. It was the inventory.
Boom! It's like a big. It was just cool.
That was one of the really cool things.
The same thing with him with his DeLorean. Like he pulled something out of his pocket, threw it, and then it just becomes
exactly. And then like when they put it away, like they're flipping through their inventory like on their screen, like that's fun. Like
that's a good in-world video game thing.
Like, that was really well done. There's I loved in the opening chase sequence. He says he's got to go to the back because he's got no gas, and I'm like, cool, he's gonna go fill up.
Yeah, I was confused about it too.
What's going on? And then the race starts. I'm like, oh,
he's just power drifting and like sucking up coins.
And I was like, use that for the plot. What was that about? And then when that happens, when people get crushed and he sucks the coins, and I was like, brilliant. He didn't just leave me hanging there.
Well, the thing is, it said something about it too. It just didn't make sense to me yet because I didn't see enough of the movie yet. Where he said something along the lines of like you're gonna like wait till like those like IOI like scrubs like get taken down, and I'm like, oh, like he's just gonna like loiter in the back and wait till like the crowd thins up and then make his run. I didn't realize he literally was just gonna wait for them to get killed so that he can like take their resources.
I love the introduction of Artemis and like the. It was really because that's also very different.
Kind of reminded me of that like from like the first Matrix when Neo meets Trinity. Like, oh my god, that's Trinity. Like, oh my god, that's the Artemis. You know what I mean? Like,
and it's good that you got that, and like you got like he's infatuated with this person because there's not to this is not really a spoiler, but like in the book, like there's a lot of build up to that. Like there's that he's got this like this crush on this person that's like.
The ideal.
Amazing. Like that does all these things. Like this real Gunter that's out there. And follows her, like reads all her blogs and all that stuff. It's on Twitch streams at the time that they read the book. But I was like, oh, like I wonder if that translates for someone that doesn't know that. And it seems like I guess they sell it well enough that you're like, oh, Because like there's like that mystical like feeling to it, like oh my god.
I have to say they did a good job of modernizing this story.
Yeah, because
it's based on a book that's 15 years old by a director who's 75 years old.
Is he that old?
70? Like how old?
No.
He can't be young.
No, he is not.
Steven
that
Spielberg's
old.
first movie came out like 45 years
Oh, director. I'm sorry. I thought you said writer.
No, No, I said a book that's 15 years old.
Oh,
directed
okay. I was
by
like,
a guy
what?
who's like 75 years old.
Yeah.
Like this was very in the here and now.
Yeah, but also then
72 years.
It just completely covers all of
meaning,
these
like
generations.
You said, a seamless update of blogs to Twitch streams.
Beautiful.
Like
Well
that's something that could have fallen through the cracks. And if they said, I read all your blogs, it still would work for right now.
Yeah.
But it's more in the moment being a Twitch stream than that.
Yeah, but you also, and then you have you have Shining, you have 80s Arcade, you have all this stuff, and then you have
90s Jurassic Park.
90s, and you have Halo and Overwatch.
Overwatch.
It's just throwing that all together. Like okay, let's make this for every person that's like this and likes this stuff across all of these years. Let's give them something.
Yeah.
and they do.
And even the Anorak character, I'm sure there's some relevance behind that I just don't have the knowledge of.
It's he's a wizard. It's very similar to Dungeons and Dragons.
No, but the name I think means something as well.
Yeah, there's also Anorak's Almanac in the book. There's a whole.
But there was also it had a very World of Warcraft vibe.
Oh, that's fair.
What I'm saying. Just I never played it, but the commercials.
That's fair. It kind of sounds that way,
right?
Yeah. I can see that. I think it was more. I think it is like his Dungeons and Dragons character. I think that's where that comes from.
I mean, World of Warcraft is just a video game's version of
basically, yeah,
of
exactly.
Dungeons and Dragons,
which is really. It's just what a blast, man. There was something else I wanted to. Oh, this is weird. The assistant. What was his name? Ben Mendelsohn's character. What was his name?
Sorry, I just clicked over to
something
someone else.
NS. Right?
He was Sorrento.
Sorrento. Yeah. His assistant,
I forget what his first
name. Lackey. That just fell flat. I had no idea what was going on with that character.
I don't know. I guess she was supposed to be kind of like his off the books.
I know, but it was
weird.
Honestly, that was one of the things that just didn't work for me throughout the movie.
It's not that it didn't work. It was just didn't have the impact.
Yeah.
I mean, because she
was getting kicked out of the back of the truck and flip flopping down the street. That actually did it for me.
No, you know, because she was just playing a cipher character. She was just playing a specific archetype.
I guess needed for certain plot things to happen.
She was a Bond henchman.
Yeah. That's true. That's fair. I don't know. I feel like they probably could have done something cooler though. Not that I don't actually have an idea, so that's unfair to say. Yeah. But it's just I don't know. It was just one of those things that I could just recognize it didn't really work.
That actress is familiar to me, and she'll be on more people's radars soon. She's playing Ghost in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh, okay.
The main villain, I think.
Cool.
And she's in the Tomb Raider movie, although I don't know who that character is. So.
We'll have to see. She is in that. I liked the relationship between Parzival and Artemis. I like that it's funny because I was a little worried. It is rushed, the romance aspect and the whole.
Well,
I
it's
love
rushed getting into the love stage.
It is, but you kind of that's another thing. As I mentioned, the time frame is more stretched out, but you do need that to be in it. So unfortunately, I don't think there was any way to do it without it being rushed.
I just feel like they could have taken a half step back from that.
Maybe.
I got a crush for you.
It doesn't have to be as
just
dire.
I'm in love with you.
Yeah.
That was fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa, buddy.
We're getting there. It just
right.
feels like we skipped a few pages ahead.
Right. That's funny. But no, it was I enjoyed those characters together. One thing that's funny that's not done in the movie, again, not a spoiler, all the characters are overweight in the book.
That makes sense.
And they're not satisfied with themselves.
Yep, that also.
And it's just it's a very real thing, especially for growing up as a fat boy. It was easy to associate myself with the character.
Yeah.
And that's kind of stripped out.
Specific audience in mind. Because it was written by a certain person, it's.
But that was stripped out, and it wouldn't have served a purpose. So it makes sense. There was not a lot of room for it, and it would have probably felt shoehorned in if it was there. So. Fine. It's just that was one thing that
also wouldn't really fit with our main cast.
No. Yeah, it wouldn't have. But Yeah. Anyway, man, that's. I mean, I don't. What else you got for this?
Well, how about we talk about a couple of my favorite Easter eggs. I loved that the end was the holy hand grenade. Did not see that coming. The holy hand grenade. That was from Monty Python's Holy Grail. That was
yeah.
To go and get the holy hand grenade.
Full disclosure. I haven't seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail,
okay.
but I do know what you're talking about.
That was when all of a sudden he's like, "What is that?" It's the holy hand grenade. I was like, "It's the holy hand grenade!" He just loves it. He just fucking kills everyone. Like, I just thought that was like, I just did not see that particular reference coming because that doesn't really fit in with all the other. Like all this was mostly 80s stuff. There's a little bit of 70s stuff, but like that didn't Monty Python doesn't really fit with most of where these references came from. So it's just like, hey,
it's that one guy.
It's that one guy.
Oh my god, that's funny.
I watched a little bit of that the other day. I fucking love that movie.
I have to rewatch it. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
The Clark Kent classes.
Oh my god,
I laughed.
That was well done.
But I also groaned because it's just like, come on.
Well, you know what I really loved the lead up to that with the Goro thing.
Yes.
And then with the little alien. But then she went chomp chomp chomp, which really got me.
It was referenceception though, because it's like, hey, I'm Goro. Alien. And then it's just like her fucking around, and then it's Clark Kent class. It's just like, like I got whiplash. Like,
sensory overload. There's reference overload. It's great.
But yeah, no, I was just like, grown.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's funny, but it's just like, really? Like, she says, it doesn't change your appearance at all, but no one will recognize you. And I'm like, come on.
Yeah. That's so funny.
But we've been mostly talking about the good things.
Let's hit some of the bad stuff.
So, this movie is really earnest.
Klein?
I actually laughed when I wrote that because I thought of that too. No, it's just like, it takes itself really seriously for a lot of the movie, but it's so cheesy. I don't know. It's just like, it left me like, it wasn't the whole movie, but there's just like certain parts where it's just like, I kind of felt myself cringing because it's just like, I don't know. It's hard to put into words.
Fanboy knows a hater?
Yes.
Gotcha.
It's that.
Yeah, no,
stuff like that.
I understand.
But it's more than that because there's even things that weren't spoken that were just like the environment that's going on, and it's like, I think I would have. The problem, like, I see some similarities between like this movie and the Lego Movie, in like what it's doing. How are we on battery?
We got 10%.
Okay, well, we'll do it.
I think we'll be all right.
It reminded me
if this just ends, it just ends. I'm gonna let you know that right now.
Everything we've got.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Because if it didn't, you don't know.
No, it will.
No, because like some like the Lego movies, like it's doing the same thing. It's just cramming all these characters, all these things, but it's like self-referential of all of those things, and it's lampooning itself, and it's like making fun of itself. And this was doing that same thing, but treating it a little bit more seriously. Like, guys, take me seriously.
Yeah.
And so that juxtaposition of the cheesiness and the earnestness,
that's fair,
was just felt awkward at times. It wasn't enough to like ruin the movie, but it's something that just like I felt it tangibly in certain scenes, and it's just like,
It's funny because like when I was reading it, I was really excited. I was like, man, like I know they're gonna make a movie out of this, and I'm excited about that. I did feel like some of this stuff's not gonna translate well, but you know what? I'm still gonna love it, and I do. But I get that. I think that's a fair assessment of what's going on there. Like it sounds like it's something you noticed, but it didn't necessarily bother you.
It didn't ruin the movie. It's just one of those things where it's like it's pulling me out.
Oh yeah,
of the
that's
at
fair.
Times it's just like, guys, like,
because
like,
it does pull you in the direction. Like, we're serious, we're fun. We're serious, we're fun, and it's like, what? Yeah,
well, and that actually kind of like dovetails into another thing I had is there was some tonal inconsistencies with this, like where it's like there's times where it's like really light and campy and it's fun, and then like that's good because like
can I sum this up in one line?
Sure. You
killed my mom's sister.
Yes. Yes.
That was the whole. That's exactly what you're getting.
Like that line like distilled it down into like something that you could like hold on to, but it's like even just not even like the line itself, but when it happened, it's like that's really dark.
I know, but
I feel like I should feel worse about this. Right. It's like we haven't spent much time, and like also that guy's a dick, so I'm glad he died. Right. But it's fucked up that she died, even though she's not really great, but she does clearly care about him. She's
garbage in the book, but there's
it's just like
what's really funny though is what really sold that for me is like because there's a significant pause after he says that. It's silent, and you're like, oh, wait, I'm equally amused and that's kind of sad. And then there was this. It was kind of quiet in that scene. There's just a guy in the back of the theater that just goes, "Stupid."
Well, that's the thing is when you could tell she was totally gonna end up dying, and then when it happens, it's just like, I know I'm supposed to feel bad for you, but I don't care about that character. I just care about the fact that you lost your aunt, but I don't really care that she.
I actually think more of it as, but think about if you realize what happened in that scene, a shitload of people died.
Yeah, no, there was definitely other casualties as well. It's fucked up. And it's just at times it was the Whiplash thing. You know what I mean? It's just super dark and gritty, light and fun and airy, and it's just they don't fit seamlessly. You can see the stitching, and it's it was just one of those. It's one of those things where it's just it's what holds it back from being great.
Yep. In
my mind, it's what holds me back from loving the movie. Is where I just like it because it's just I can see where it's all fitting together,
right? And
it pulls me out of it a little bit.
I think that's totally fair.
Like I said, it doesn't ruin the movie. It's just one of those things. It's just to clean that up.
Yeah, that's yeah.
And also and again, kind of part of it because what you were saying was how many people died. And this is more a question than anything. And I'm wondering maybe if they explored it more in the book because it seemed like there was a story there that just couldn't make the final cut.
Uh-huh.
I was really confused why IOI had unilateral ability to just do whatever it wanted. Because we don't see any police until the final scene, but IOI has its own fucking strike team that goes and wraps up that whole revolution of people going against IOI.
Oh, you mean the yeah, I know what you're saying.
They have a SWAT team. That supersedes the police.
Yeah, it is a little strange. They tie it well to the world is in the dystopia of the in the book is a lot. It's way more dire.
It's something that would probably be explained in the book, but it was a broken note in the movie because it just doesn't fit.
It is very much so they touched on it with the buying up of the debts. That's
But even that was one line.
It was one line,
but and it was delivered really quickly that you could have missed it. I heard it and I was just
that is more.
Is that what it is? Because I was just thinking in any sort of situation like that in any world, real or imagined, typically you have to enter into an agreement. You don't just buy the debt. You come to someone and say, "Hey, buy my debt," and then you serve
I think
them.
it's
I felt we got from point A to C when we skipped B.
It gets away more with it probably because you realize things are a lot more screwed up in the real world.
It was just how unilateral the fact that they just carried out. They carried out an assassination, and then 3 days later they carry out a fucking military raid on this building.
Right.
And it's I was okay, so services are privatized now, just companies.
But then the cops show up.
But then the cops show up later, and I'm where were they when? I get that it's the slums, but they blew up a whole section of it. A lot of people died.
Right. Oh, and well, that's actually a thing.
There's a strike team as well. The cops didn't investigate any of that.
It's very covered up. They
hard to cover up explosions and murder.
It's a propane thing, and they make it make sense. But
and you can clearly see
it's definitely skipped over in the movie.
Supposed to be some sort of fixer who would cover that shit up.
Yeah,
it's just it was a leap.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And they're just we want to show you all these cool things. You're gonna just have to take our word on this.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
Which is what it's just another one of those things where it's just it pulls it back a little bit. Where it's just
again, fair criticism.
Yeah.
Any others?
I don't think I have any other criticisms per se. I mean, I don't love the main character. I don't know why.
Okay.
The guy who plays him, he's just okay.
He's he is the guy that plays him is just okay in the movie.
Yeah.
I love the character, but I think I love him more because
the character is interesting enough. I mean, he is kind of a classic. You could change his name to Luke Skywalker, and it's no different.
Right.
It's the same journey, more or less. I like the girl who played Artemis. She was good.
Yeah, she was good.
I love Ben Mendelsohn. I just enjoy Lena Waithe in general, and she was funny in it. I liked
H.
Yeah, I liked Saito or Daito and Sho. I was
Daito
and Do. Daito and Sho. They were funny together. Now, were they related
in the movie? Yes.
Was he father and son, or was it brothers?
Brothers in the movie.
I was a little confused by that. It seemed like they clearly were there together. I just wasn't 100% sure.
If you're interested in that and you think that those characters are cool, go read the book. much more dire circumstance in the book.
Yeah, when you said earlier that one of them died, I imagine it's one of them.
Yeah, but it's honestly not even that. That's the kicker. It's the whole concept of of them and what their background. It's cool. It's really well done.
Mark Rylance, when he was playing the younger version of Halliday, I was just like, could you speed up a little bit?
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yep.
And I didn't look it up, but I wanted to find out who was that played. Was Kira was the woman, but was that the one who was actually in the Shining movie? Was it the same actress? Because she looked really familiar in that scene.
Oh, I don't know.
But I don't know who she is. I didn't get a chance to look her up.
I'm gonna guess yes because I think the whole thing was it's her.
That's what I thought too. But she looked really familiar, and I just looked it up now, and I actually don't recognize her name. So I don't know why she looked super familiar to me in that scene.
But anyway.
And I forgot Simon Pegg was in the movie, so what was going on. And I liked that they brought him back as old Simon Pegg later.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It was good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I can't wait to go watch it again. I also really can't wait for it to come out for my face to melt when I put it on my TV downstairs. 4K HDR is going to blow my goddamn mind. But, yeah, man. I had a blast. Any other closing thoughts?
I don't think so. I think that's about it.
Well, with 6% left, that's episode 40. Man, we killed it. High five. We got your story in. We got your dramatic. What if we just got cut off right there?
We got your.
And that's so yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you want to keep the conversation going, I'm at AEJ Costanzo on Twitter and Instagram. Al is at Alessandro B. 1187. I don't have my notes in front of me. I've turned off the Wi-Fi in hopes that my battery would last longer. And I realized that I didn't have my outro notes hooked up, so I can't see them.
Wait, hang on.
Uh-oh.
That's it for episode 40 of Flix in a Six. We hope you enjoyed it. If you want to keep the conversation going,
this is great.
He's AEJ Costanzo on the Twitter and Instagram.
Crush it.
Al is Alessandro B. 1187.
Bring it home.
Be sure to check out our Flipboard magazine, Flix in a Six. It's FLI 6. To follow along with our stories of the week. And as always, check back next week for more movies and beer goodness. Until then, cheers.